Hello, good morning. Welcome to Stampin' Chat. It's Tuesday the 21st of January. We are motoring our way into the new year. Hopefully somebody will be joining us this morning. Going to be crafting with some new products from our January to April mini catalogue and also some Sale-a-Bration products as well, and sharing with you what's been sort of inspiring me and bringing me joy to create with certain products this month. So let's just do a couple of checks before we go any further and we'll get rolling. So I've got a card to share with you, a mini card and a card to share with you this morning, and they are going to be part of a January class that's coming, a February class even, because we're nearly at the end of January already. I'm not quite sure how that's happened. So yeah, let's just give my glasses a clean. If you are joining me, please do say hello. It's always nice to know who is here. Someone's here, but yes. So I think let's get down onto my desk and get rolling, and you can see, I'll share with you the products that I'm using and how I've kind of evolved my project from my last live. I'm using sort of the same sketch moving forward with a lot of the projects as well. I was kind of inspired myself on my own sketch, so, and that's really good how that works. So let's get you down onto my desk and see where we're at. Let's move that out of the way. Have a little zoom in. Oops, that's in, out. Shaking it all about this morning. Morning, Jill. How you doing, my lovely? Looking forward to catching up with you later in the week. Who else is here? Shaz, good morning. How are you doing? Are you all settled into being back home? It's an adjustment going away, isn't it? And then I kind of feel like it's an adjustment coming back. Let's get this grid down. It's like a new year, isn't it? It's kind of getting back into the swing of things. And I don't know about you, but I do kind of find it hard. It is really easy over the festive period to just like have no routine, which is good. But to have no real routine and, you know, just do whatever takes your fancy. Get up when you want, go to bed when you want, eat what you want. And then all of a sudden you feel like you need to get back into some kind of like structure. And then it sort of hits you as like, oh gosh, maybe I don't want to get back into that structure. But I think once you sort of break that ice and get back into your normal, I hate the word really routine, but routine is kind of good. But get back to a bit of structure. It does really pick you back up and kind of get you going again. And I can just about see the nights starting to draw out, which like brings a little bit of hope that spring is on its way. And the daffodils are popping up in the garden as well, which does not please Jason because he has to mow around them, but they are popping up already. So yeah, there are signs. Right, today I am heavily inspired, by this pack of paper, Toadstool Gardens. It's called Garden. Let's have a look. Toadstool Gardens. And the colours in here are just bringing me so much love at the minute and so much inspiration. I will be honest and say I'm not a huge fan of all of the patterns. They're quite bright for me. You've got that pop of melon mambo, but in small doses I can cope with it. Now this is a free earnable gift in the Sale-a-Bration promotion. So if you spend £55 on anything in any catalogue, the mini catalogue, the annual catalogue, the scrapbooking brochure, the online exclusives, you could choose this for free. And there is also a set of coordinating stamps in the mini catalogue. Morning, Lucianne. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. So I've just been like, everything's been rolling from this pack of paper, and I'm getting slightly edgy because, where's my favourite sheet? This is my favourite sheet. So if any of my team are coming on Thursday and they've got this pack and they prefer one of the other sheets, I'll happily swap for you for some more of this one, because I've more than halfway through that lot. But I am using another sheet today, so I always keep my 6x6 in a little cello bag, and then I put all my scraps in another cello bag inside, so that we don't get any waste. We like to use those scraps, and that it just keeps them all together. So that's the free DSP. I am going to be focusing again on the birthday celebration bundle. So it's the one that features on the front of the catalogue. So it's this one, because the words in here are great. And I will also be using the die set that goes with this, which is here. This is another Sale-a-Bration freebie, but this one is a gift when you spend £110, so quite a chunk. But if you've been saving up for on your wish list for things that you need, then this is a really lovely bundle to get. Morning, Lisa. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. So let's pop those dies. I have inked with this stamp as well, and it's absolutely gorgeous. You can like layer with it and stamp off, and layer with the die cut heart that goes over it as well. So it is really beautiful. And I love the greetings on here too. I have pulled back out from my last live. This is the free gift when you join Sale-a-Bration. When you join Stampin' Up, rather, during Sale-a-Bration. If you go to the end of the brochure, when you join, you can choose to receive this stamp set and 2 packs of Stampin' Right marker pens, or you could just choose £30 in product. But I absolutely adore this set. As a demonstrator, I was able to purchase this ahead of the launch. So I actually paid for it because I love it, and I know that this one, as I showed you last time, will make good man cards. Let's put those to one side. These are the dies that go with the birthday celebration set. I particularly love this one. I love the numbers. I have done a couple of cards with numbers on. I'm going to pull those out so that I get to show you them after. But I love the flower. I love the tassels. I love these little banners. So really perfect. And then you've got this long die here where you can create bunting with. So a really, really good set. And then last time, I was going to share with you what I did last time. Oh, it's trapped. We haven't got the light on yet, have we? That's it. That might help a little bit. This is what I created last time. I did a really quick card for you. Shaz, you like the the heart set. Let me look back. Yeah, the heart stamps are lovely. And as I said, this one particular, have I got anything with it inked? I've been working on quite a big class using this set and the dies. So I can't share all of it. I can share bits and pieces. But yeah, last time we used this one. So I thought I would use my sketch. When we're drawing the live, I said afterwards I might try it in a different colour. And this is where my colour inspo is coming at the minute from this pack of paper. I don't have Melon Mambo. This really bright colour in here is Melon Mambo, and I'm not sure if I have any Granny Apple Green, which I think that's what that green is, but I'm teaming it with other greens. So what I did was recreated my card. Same sketch, same kind of layout, tweaked it a little bit by adding this bit, but just made it into a more feminine project. And that kind of got me rolling with these colours and kind of got me excited to create more with them. I did also, and I shared this in my community group, I did also create with the other flower in this set and used the sketch again, just duplicated it and came up with this card. I was planning on colouring my flower with Fresh Freesia pens, but I started colouring and then soon realised that mine was losing the will, so I've had to put another set on my order to go through. So today's inspiration kind of comes from this kind of sketch layout. Okay, so that's where we are going. Not for the first part, but on the second part of it for sure. So I have got, I'm going to do a little mini card, and this, as I've said, this is part of, let's get some inks out. Now I've pulled out my crumb cake ink. I've also pulled out my fresh freesia. Excuse my my blood blister there. I did that on my cutting machine. I was turning the handle and slipped or something. I wouldn't have been turning the handle because that would have been right, but I slipped. must have been holding it tight and caught my thumb. I don't know why I'm apologising for that, because it's just it's just a bruise. So pulled out my fresh freesia because I might tweak something on the second project. So the first one I thought I'd do for my class. It's going to be an online class and a class that can be taken in the studio. I thought I'd do some mini cards. I did send out some little mini cards in January to some customers, but I just thought I get so drawn in to our standard size card. I do fun folds. I love a fun fold, and I know you all love fun folds. In fact, I had a private class here last night for a group of mums who wanted to have a little gathering, and I designed a fun fold for them. But I think different size cards is great as well, rather than our standard card size. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I've taken a piece of cardstock. It measures 3.5, I think. Yep, 3.5 by 7 inches. And we are literally just going to fold it down. So let's just have a look at your chat a minute. Shaz, you're home tomorrow. Oh, you'll be home tomorrow night. But you're only home for a few days and then back to Brisbane for an appointment. Okay. And then you're going to hit the road running back into classes. Designer for swaps and for on stage. I know on stage is an event that we get to partake in as demonstrators, and it's something we really look forward to. Networking with other demonstrators. We have business presentations, we have lovely fun presentations, product presentations, and we just have such a great time. So I've literally just scored this one down the middle, and then I've cut a piece of basic white cardstock to layer on the front. This is such a sweet and simple card, but I'm going to do a whole set of them, and I'm going to show you a box that's going to be included as the class. I'm not going to make the box. You'll need to order the PDF if you want to do that. The front of my card measures 3 1/8 and it's square. And then I've cut a strip, and I'm quite good at using strips of pattern paper. So if I grab you a piece, I've literally cut a strip, so it's 6 inches, this piece, and I've cut a strip at 1/2 inch, and then I've chopped it in the middle. And by chopping it in the middle, it just about makes it big enough for one project, but then it means I've got the other piece that is exactly the same size that I can do another project with. So if I'd have made it just a little bit bigger, and this is going at the bottom of my layer here, if I'd have made it a little bit bigger or made it reach the end, it would have just been that bit bigger, and then the piece that I would have had left wouldn't have worked on the next card. So I always try and work sort of quite savvy, because I think, you know, we spend a lot of money on our product and we need to get the most out of it, don't we? Right, we need a scrap of white. We want our crumb cake ink. And I need to pull a couple of stamps out of here because I've not got what I need. You can see the ones that I've been using the most. I don't think I've even inked up with these sweet flowers yet. Really need to. So I'm using the For You. Let's grab a couple of books. And just mount those up. I'm going to pull out my spongy mat because we're using photopolymer. And I'm just going to ink up the U. I have re-inked this, so it's quite dark. And then let's find a little skinny strip for the 4. Maybe that one will work. It's always good saving these edgy bits because they always come in handy. Just ink up the 4 and stamp it down. Like that. We can do that ink up for the moment. And I'm going to snip this like at an angle because it's kind of on a slant anyway. Save that bit for later. And then we'll cut this one out. So there's not a huge amount of stamping on today's projects because I am using the lovely flower die that's in one of the sets as well, which is good. You know, we don't have to always stamp everything and have loads of stamped things. That's why we have a whole multitude of products available so that you can pick and choose what you want to put on your projects. It's not very often that I don't stamp on a card, that being said. Right, what do we want next? Let's do a bit of die cutting. Got glue everywhere already. In fact, that might have been from previous. So I have treated myself to a new top plate, but not to the bottom just yet. So I've got a lovely new, you can hardly see it, look, a lovely new top plate. It won't stay like this for long, but I always love how smooth it feels when you run things through your machine when you've got new plates. So we're going to have some flowers, some foliage, and we're also going to die cut the heart from the heart-shaped dies. So we're going to do this one here. And we'll use this one. See if we can we'll cut both of these because we'll need both of those. And then this gorgeous flower, which I just adore. It's got that lovely lined part to it that just looks so great when it's die cut. Because my plate is new and flat, I shouldn't have to tape anything down. So I'm just going to run that through and I hope that nothing moves. And a new plate does go through a lot easier. When they start bending, that's when things start moving around. And right, I'm going to show you just how lovely this is. Absolutely gorgeous. Shaz, you keep your scraps the same, yes. So I recently found some new pocket pages for, not for my scrapbook albums, but some like storage pockets for my 12 by 12s. And I do the same with that as well. I'm going to need another flower. I keep a cello bag in the front with all the spare bits and pieces in, because then you, if they're in one bag, you don't have to keep fighting every time you're going in there to get a sheet out. So let's just push out this. I'm in a real dilemma with my hair as well. As you probably might have noticed, my roots are really growing out and I should really book in. What I would normally have booked in to have my roots redone. Right, let's just run this one through first. And then I think we've got all of the elements we need and then we can chatter. Still got a bit of a frog in the throat trying to arise every time I start talking, but where was I going? Yeah, hair. So I'm at that age where my hair is thinning out. It's just not doing what I want it to do anymore. I used to have really easy hair. I used to be able to wash it on the 5th day and, you know, let it go for 5 days before washing it and it didn't get greasy or anything. I used to be able to wake up and I did brush it, but there were days when I didn't need to. It was very smooth and I didn't have to straighten it. And now it just looks like a mess all the time. And do you know, being a woman, when your hair feels scruffy, it just makes me feel kind of scruffy as well. So having these roots is, I'm not really sure where I'm going with them or how I feel about it, but I'm really not sure what to do. Because it's just maintenance, isn't it? It's hard work. So I don't know whether to just make the appointment and go back and have some thinner ones put through so that it's not so much of a block of colour that's coming through. And I have got a bit of grey coming, not a lot, thank goodness. So yeah, so I just feel it looks really trashy at the moment. I'm not best pleased with how it's looking, but I need to maybe just ring my hairdresser and be like, right, what can you do for me? What are you going to do? I'm on a good process. I'm on a process with hair masks and using specialist shampoos just to try and give it strength, because it's just breaking off and it's not growing and my sides aren't growing down, and I just feel like it's getting shorter and shorter and I'm not even having it cut. So yes. Hi Vicky, how are you doing? Good evening. How are you? Right, we're just making a little mini card, which for me is part of a class, an online class that I'm going to be offering. And it's going to be like a part of a little boxed set. And I'll show you the box when I've done the card. So let's start by adding on our DSP. Now, you know I was saying about sizing of DSP when you're using 6x6 paper. So just popping this one at the bottom. Use up your scraps, okay? Don't cut things specifically if you can help it. For tasks like this, use up the bits and pieces. Make good use of them. Let's get rid of that bit of glue that's wanting to come out. Right, now I've got that piece on, we'll add it to our card. This is really a really simple, straightforward card. It's quick, it's easy. But the idea will be that I will make maybe 4 different ones. Oh, stuck to me. So my new ladies that came last night, I had 4 new ladies come to the studio, and someone that had been quite a few times before, who I know quite well. She brought her friends with her to do like a private class, which is lovely. So they all gathered and chatted and crafted. But introducing new people to Tombow, it's not challenging by any way, because Tombow to me is the best glue on the planet, but it is about educating how to use it and not to have too much. And I just think once you get used to it, it really is a good glue. I'm sure some of you who use it will agree. It's strong. You don't get that, you know, some glues that you buy, the front of your card kind of bows and bends. You never get that. It's such a good glue. I will highly recommend it for your crafting. Right, so let's pop on a little die cut heart. So we want a teeny weeny, and you can really control how much comes out of the tip as well. And I guess that is kind of practice, experience of using it. So we're going to lay our heart down just to the right hand side. And I didn't put glue everywhere because we don't need glue everywhere. We just need to anchor it into place, and we'll let that dry. We've then got our 4U, which we're going to add some dimensionals to. Getting old brings many things, doesn't it? But do you know what? I'm just thankful that I'm here. I had a message yesterday to say that my dad had gone into hospital. Well, my sister rang, but I couldn't take it because I had Luca for the day. But letting me know that my dad had been taken into hospital overnight. So, do you know, you just got to make the most of what you've got. You really have. But he's been moved to another hospital now. I'm going to go and visit him later tonight. So he's going to have a little operation, I think. He's got lots of problems going on. That he was in Bristol last week seeing specialists, but it now appears that he's got kidney stone blockage. So I'm not sure whether that will involve a mini op to break down the stones or to remove the stones. We'll have to see shortly. So my mum will be heading into hospital, and she's going in with my sister. She'll fill us in later. So do you know what? Sometimes it's just always something, isn't it? But I'm thankful to be here crafting with you. As much as I'm moaning about the roots in my hair, makes me sound really ungrateful, doesn't it? I mean, I should be thankful to have hair, shouldn't I? Because there are some people that are not fortunate, or they lose all their hair. So I am very grateful for that fact. Right, just to finish my card, I'm going to add in our 2 little die cut flowers. Now we could have done these flowers in maybe the petunia pop, because that's the colour that I'm teaming with this, even though within the paper pack it's melon mambo. But as I said, I don't even think I have a scrap of melon mambo in my rack, and I've got most colours. I've got a lot of colours. I think I'm going to save that one. I might use the end of it. So yeah, petunia pop was more of a colour that I felt worked with this. So let's snip off, just because we're wedging these in after, we're going to just snip off a little bit from each stem, because we're going to push them into place, and that longer stem might just get in the way. And again, a little bit of Tombow. I can share that with this piece. And we'll just, oh, she says dropping it. We'll just pop it in. Give it a push under that flower. And put the other one, which is sticking to me, up here. That'll hide that little splodge of glue. And then I think I'm going to chop off this bit. If I chop it carefully, I might be able to use that bit for something else. Oh dear, dropsies. Triple dropsies. Chop the end off. A teeny weeny bit more glue. Oh my goodness. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? Can't even pick it up today. I'm just going to wedge that one in up there. Let's get rid of that bit of Tombow. Let's give the fingers a clean, and that will help. So we've got our little card, and then we're going to add my favourites of the moment, the antique pearls. And I feel like I've been using these all the time, and look, I still have hundreds left. I've also treated myself to a new bit of putty today. So let's go with a medium and a small on this one. These pearls are absolutely gorgeous. They're very like milky looking, but with a bit of a shine as well, like almost a pearlescent shine. And that's our card. It's really, really simple, really sweet. I bought myself ages ago some mini square envelopes. I think these were from Amazon. These are about 110. Oh, they're 10 centimetre square, and they fit my card with plenty of space to add, to allow for bulk, because if you make the card much bigger, you might think, if I make it this wide, that you've got enough to get it in the envelope. But when you've got the bulk, you do need to allow your card to be a bit smaller to get in there. So, and that will be part of a class that will go inside this little box. So I'm not going to show you how to make this. As I've said, this will be part of an online class. So our envelopes will fit in there. I'll try and do a little search and let you know about the envelopes as well, the sizing, because it could be that I have to tweak things for the class, but I know I have a stack of these. So all of my cards, this is where my sketch comes back in. Can you see we've got the strip here, the strip of DSP, and then our banner die here. So this evolved from that sketch, that original card that I did. So we're going to make a stack of cards in a box at the class. So I've already got 2, but they're the same. Can you just see where I've re-inked my crumb cake, just how much darker it is? This is true colour really, this is slightly faded. But we all like little cards and things that we can give as a gift, and I just thought a little box like that with some mini cards in is the perfect thing to give as a gift. And I'm just grabbing these 2. I've got a couple of other cards that will be part of that class as well. It's going to be a big class. It's going to be a lot of cards and a few 3D projects. Right, next project. And this also is designed to go in that box. So it could be that you choose to do other things with the box. And this is something else that would fit in it. So I've got all of my layers cut. I'm starting with a base piece of fresh freesia, which measures 11 1/4 by 3 3/4. And we need to do a little bit of scoring. And I don't actually remember the measurement, so I'm going to have to just check a second with something else. Grab my ruler. Okay, so we're going to put it in at 3 3/4, and we're scoring. And then again at 7 1/2. So that then gives us 3 equal squares here. So 3 3/4 and 7 1/2. And then we're literally just going to fold. Let me just grab my original so I make sure I do the folds the right way. So we're going to fold that right panel in. So if I tidy up and give it a score. And then the last panel, I'm going to turn it over and do the same, but I'm going to try and line in these 2 points here and kind of pinch it so that it stays at that point and it doesn't overhang. If it does overhang a bit, then we can just like trim a bit off of the edge, because that's quite even. But sometimes when we're doing folding like this, we get one slightly longer bit, so you may just have to trim a little smidge off of the end. So we end up with like this little Z fold card. And then we've got some layers to go on it, but we'll do our little bit of stamping, I think, and then we've got everything together. And I'm going to be brave. I'm going to use this side of the pattern paper, and I'm not a huge fan of the Melon Mambo, but I like the white background on it, and I think it teams quite well. And as I've said, even though this is Petunia Pop and this is Melon Mambo, because we're seeing like edges of it, it all blends together. So, you know, don't get too hung up on things like really being matchy. Right, so we've got 3 Petunia Pop layers. Where's my ruler gone? Left it behind me. It's usually in front of me. Thanks for stopping by, Shaz. We'll catch up with you later. So we've got 3 Petunia Pops and they all measure 3.5 inches square. And then our layering matting piece is 3 3/8 square. Okay, so we've got 2 patterned paper ones. That's the other side of the fresh freesia. Not a fan of that. And then we've got a plain white one for the middle. So what we're going to do is we need to do a bit of die cutting. I've already cut a couple of flowers and a bit of foliage ready, but we also need to do some stamping. So if we pull in our mat, I'm going to need another scrap of cardstock and the crumb cake ink, and I've pulled out from the birthday celebration. I really like the Make-A-Wish stamp, so I've mounted that one up ready. I'm going to ink that one up. So did you all have a good weekend? What did you get up to? Has your weather been good and you've been able to get out and about? Has it been rubbish? Have you been stuck in your craft? I say stuck in your craft room. I mean, that's just absolute joy, isn't it? Have you been marooned in your craft room? So we had a fairly busy weekend and it went really quickly, really quickly. Let's trim around the edge of here and then we can do our other bit of stamping. What did we do? Saturday, we went to Jason's dad's house to start doing a bit of sorting out because he passed away last July. So there is lots to sort out at his house. So we gathered and did that for a bit. And then, what did we do the rest of the day Saturday? Can't even remember. That's dreadful, isn't it? Oh, I think we went into town. I think we went into Cheltenham. That's right, I had to take some bits back to John Lewis, so we went back to John Lewis. That might have even been Sunday, actually. How terrible is that? I think we went to Ledbury for coffee on Saturday afternoon. I think that's what we did. Usual thing, I like to try and drag Jason out for a little coffee date over the weekend. Did some housework, did a bit of tidying. Didn't really get anything done out in the garden. We took Alfie for a nice walk down the LANE. Yeah, and the weekend kind of went, and it's a bit like damp, and it's still like that today. There's a little hint of blue sky out there, but it's really cloudy, and it's just been really grey and damp. Not very pleasant. Let's roll on the spring weather. So yeah, our weekend it kind of just came and went, as they do, like every day kind of does. And I think we're just all trying to sort of fit a lot into our lives, aren't we? And I think that's why time just goes so fast. Trying to cram it all in. Right, now on our centre panel, we need another bit of wordage. So I thought, as this was kind of like a bit of a theme for my lives this month, I'd pull out the Have the Best Day stamp. So this one is red rubber, it's a cling. And it does stamp pretty straight. You do have to be wary when you're mounting your stamps how straight you put your stickers on, because it really does help when it comes to lining things up. But I quite often will do a test run. I will line up all of the words against a line on my grid paper just to see how straight it is, and that just gives me a bit of an indication. Right, we're going to pop this down in the middle, so I know I'm just sort of lining up the bottom of the line, and that's not too bad. That's pretty straight. We can go with that. Oh, I just dunked my finger in that then. And it's a bit low, but that's totally fine. I'm going to pop those 2 layers together, ready to go inside our little foldy card. Like that. And of course, remember, you can make your own envelopes. Does anyone still have the envelope board? I've got a couple, I think, here. let's mount these up while we're here. I did think about this one as well, because I really do like this pattern, and I don't find that too bright. But I didn't know, I felt it just stood out like a bit of a sore thumb. Even though I'm going to have some flowers over on this side and a bit of foliage, I felt like this side just kind of teamed in a little bit better. But I don't dislike that leafy side to it. In fact, I did use it on some cards I'm going to show you in a minute, if I don't forget. I'm very good at that, aren't I? Telling you I'm going to show you something, and then at the end of the live I'm like, oh, I forgot to share that. Let's grab that bit again. So yeah, what did you get up to at the weekend? Let's put these two on, and then we know that they're in place. So on the right panel, we're going to pop in the DSP layer. We've got a nice even border all the way around. Now, the only disadvantage of this size of card, and I say disadvantage, but if you're using 6x6 paper, this is 3 3/8 square. So when you cut, just grabbing a piece of paper. When you cut your square at 3 3/8, you get a panel. You can only get one of these out of a sheet. So if it was 3 inches, then it would work much better. So you could actually layer up with like a smaller, let's just say if you did another smaller layer of cardstock and then a 3x3" square of pattern paper, then you would get 4 of these from one sheet. Whereas the way I've cut it and the size, you only get 1. Of course you get your leftover strip on either side, but it means you can't get the most for this project if you wanted to make a batch of these. Because I'm very, very mindful about that when I'm creating. I'm very mindful about the sizes that I cut, especially with DSP, to sort of get the most out of it. If it was, I mean, you still get as many sheets, you still get as much DSP as if you're buying sort of 12x12. But just because you've got smaller sheets, it seems like you have less, if you know what I mean. So I hope that makes sense, what I was saying. So literally making this 3 inches will stretch it a lot further. It will mean that you'd have to layer. So let's say you put a fresh freesia in that size, and then say another petunia pop in that size, then you could get a 3 inch by 3 inch square of pattern paper in the middle. So it kind of involves another layer of cardstock, but it means your DSP, especially when it's like this, is exclusive. You can't buy this pack, you have to earn it. Then it's not so readily available. Right, we're going to stick our DSP down. And then we're going to add on, got that bit squidging out the top again. Oh, now it's stuck to me. And we need to do a bit of die cutting. I've got a strip of crumb cake. You could use something else, but I'm kind of teaming it in with the rest of my projects. So this measures 3 1/8, if my memory serves me right. Yes, by 1 inch. And we're going to pop this at the bottom, just up, with like a bit of an even border around those 3 bottom edges. And then we need to die cut. Move that out of the way. And then we need to die cut our lovely banner die. This one here. So we'll just run that one through. It's quite adorable, this one. I really do. I find dies like this very, very usable. Just run that through quickly. Oh, it's that stitch that I just love. That looks a little bit rough, but it's going to be fine. We're going to be covering over the bottom of it. Everything back. And we're going to lay down this banner next. So has anybody earned this paper pack yet? I'm going to put it over to the right hand side. Hey Alfie, you having a little rest? Been wandering about. I'm not the only one that could do with a haircut as well. I don't really need a haircut, I just need hair colour. He needs a bit of a trim as well. So since he had an operation a couple of years ago, February actually, where he had to be neutered, his fur just gets really woolly and fluffy. So we actually have to have him like his whole body trimmed, where as up to the age of like 10 and a half, he didn't have to have any of his body clipped, but he just gets really fluffy. Right, we're going to pop in that strip of DSP. So this is the other half. It's 3 inches wide. So it's the other half from this piece. We're going to add in our greeting, popping it on dimensionals. And all in there, that should balance out. Pop that down on the right hand side. And then what I'm going to do next, before I put anything else on, I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back. Because this is a 3D card, we can layer it up, because we're not going to be worrying about postage. So we can layer it up, because it's intentionally it's going into my box anyway. Oh, I didn't mean to pull those off yet. That was silly, but that means we have to do the next step next. Okay, so this is the front panel. I wasn't supposed to pull them off yet. And it's going to go here on this left panel. But before we do that, I want to attach some ribbon. And I've pulled out the silver and white. This is the sheer ribbon. It's beautiful. I love it. Absolutely love it. Have a couple of rolls of this in stock. And we're going to have our tie over at this side. So we want to make sure we've got plenty. So to make sure that we've got enough before we cut it, I'm going to tie my bow. It just ties beautifully. So we're just going to tie a little bow. It's probably a little, no, it's about right. It's about right, and we can trim a bit off the end. So we'll just snip off that end. And then we want the tie to be at the side. So I'm just going to like pull it around. Actually, I'll retie it. That would be easier. So I'm going to find the middle like this. Okay. So I've just folded it in half and I've got the middle. This is the left side of my card, and then the middle bit is going to go around there. So we can put it around, make sure that we've still got the middle and that our ends are somewhat even. And we can tie it again. No, we don't need to tie it again. Let's put our tape down first before we tie it. So we just want a bit of tear and tape across the middle. We don't really need to measure because we can see by eye roughly where the middle is, and we don't want to go right to the edges because this panel doesn't go right to the edge. So we're just going to pull it from that way because it's pulled a bit of the card there. And we're just going to wrap that one around. like that. Pop on our front panel. So it's nice, got a nice even border all the way around. And then we can add in our flowers and foliage. As I've said, we could have done petunia pot flowers or white flowers. Both would work. And then I think I've got two of the long ones on my original. That one looks a bit squashed, but we'll have to go with it. So we're going to pop a little bit of Tombow just on the bottom and put it down over on the left side. And then the second one, we're going to just kind of wedge in underneath it. A little bit of Tombow. Just going to oh, I knew that would happen. Didn't really give it a chance to stick, did we? Just going to wedge this one down in next to it. So it looks like a longer stem. And then we'll add in our flowers and then we are done. Put one at the bottom, one going up the stem a little. And I'm turning my flowers to hide the stem. Let those sit for just a second and locate our pearls that are hiding under mountains of stuff. And there was something else. I'll do that first. So I'll let those flowers dry. And I did think I mounted up from the birthday celebration set. I mounted up this bunting and I was just going to stamp it, see what it looked like and see whether we needed it. Because I felt it was a little bit plain up here. So if I'd have done a little bit of spritzing or something else there. So I'm just inking that one up. Let's close that up. And we'll just trim around. Trim around this. Which is super easy. It's not, you don't have to go really close. It's just twisting and turning. Up into the little nooks and crannies. And just cut it out. This looks very pink. With fresh freesia, I do find once you've stamped and let it dry for a bit, it really does kind of pale out. Colour kind of seeps into the cardstock. Turn it. Nearly there. Getting to the end and I have nothing to hold on to. The hardest bit is going around the end bit when you've not got a lot of cardstock left. Just going to trim along that little bit closer. So you've got a little bunting, and I just wondered what it would look like if we popped it up there. I might put it on. I can always whip it off, you know me. If you're in my community group, I went live on Friday, I think it was, and created something. And then after I finished it, I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about this. I might just pull a couple of bits off when I finished. And I almost virtually did the whole card again. Because I just didn't like something on it. But, you know, that's the beauty. I might put another one there in the middle, just so it doesn't get saggy. The reason I hesitated with this banner bit is because, this bunting, because I haven't used it on any of the other projects. But it is quite sweet. Right, do we want it up in the corner, I think, like that. We'll finish with our embellishments. We'll use a large one on this one and a medium. They're gorgeous. They are gorgeous. I think they're about £7.50 a packet. And then, I won't fold it up yet. I'll when it opens out, you've got this little card that stands up on the mantelpiece. Obviously, you've got your ribbons going everywhere, but you know, that's part of. And then before you give it, as I've said, this ribbon just ties the most beautiful bows. Let's put you under. You have to kind of be forceful with your ribbon and tell it where you want it to go. You know, manipulate it and turn things around. Just pull that one a bit shorter. And then I would probably just trim those off a little, so we don't want them too long. And then make them a little bit bigger. Pull the opposite tail. And then we've got a really sweet little fold out Z fold card. Where's our box? That will also fit in said box. Like that. You could turn it into a gift card box. But it's just a really nice little size. So the overall box measures about 4 inches. So that is my inspiration of the day. Absolutely cannot step away from this colour combo at the moment. Where's the little mini cards? So there's a whole host of projects coming for a big class with this. And I'm thinking I'll probably do it as an online class as well. I'll get some filming done, get some kits cut and film it and break it down into maybe 3D projects and card projects for those of you that don't like doing one or the other. So yeah, really pleased with how they've turned out, and just I'm adoring the new products that we have as well. I just promised I'd share a little further inspiration using the birthday celebration die set. So we've got all the number dies in here, and then we've got the tassels. We've got this flower, which I like, but not as much as this flower. I think that one is just so sweet and usable. We've got the lovely banner die, and the flower centres, and then these little kind of bunting banners as well. So a really good set. And how useful are numbers? So I just thought it would be just fun to create. I started off with my colours from my original sketch from my last live, so you can see it's the same layout that I've just tweaked slightly. So these two are very much the same. I've just added in the DSP in the background, and then with this one I've just added in a panel behind. So when you're in a flow, I find when I'm in a flow with something, I can just sit and recreate and just keep going. I have to stop myself sometimes when I get in a flow. But yeah, so that's today's inspiration. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for those who are still here. Trying to keep my lives to about an hour if I can, which we are roughly about that. Some of them we're getting very long, and you know, I appreciate it's a lot for you to, even to catch up on the replay, it's a lot. So But I do appreciate those of you that are here for the live, and also those of you that catch on the replay. So if you've got any questions about anything, remember we've got a brand new catalogue at the moment. We've got so much going on. We've got new kits. I don't have any of the brand new kits yet. We've got our Sale-a-Bration promotion, so you've got free gifts in here. The heart ones are here. There is also another higher purchased stamp set that's available. That looks beautiful. I don't have that one yet, but just look at the inspiration. Look at this. Look, it's just gorgeous. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Jill. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed. I'd love to see what you recreate if you fancy having a go. And I would also love it too if you headed to my PDF tutorial section on my events website. And I will aim to get some kits cut and get some a class going with these projects, these products even, very soon. Excuse me, the frog is back. That's telling me that I've talked too much, so I need to have a drink. It's 11's, so I'm off to grab a coffee and a Powerball to keep me going until lunchtime. So thank you for stopping by. Please take care wherever you are, and I hope to see some of you in the community group. If you're not in my stamping community group, you can join. I will pop a link on my page for you to. In fact, there was a link on there the other day for people to join. But it's called the Simply Pretty Stamping Community, and it's just a place to kind of hang out, share what you've done, take part in my challenge, and it's you know, I'm hoping it will build and grow because it's pretty new. So anyway, I'm going to say bye again for like the 5th time, otherwise I'm still going to be here at 12 o'clock. So love you all. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you soon. So take care. Bye.